Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can. And I continue with Amnesia, a machine for pigs, blind. Well, this seems to be working fine. Okay, the fuse is broken over here. More electrical sabotage. Another confounded fuse box. The fellow is thorough in his sabotage, if somewhat repetitive. The stench from the barrels is quite discomforting. I would certainly hope that whatever chemistry this room is designed to store is not the defining feature of the flood that threatens my children. Okay, this is the other side of the barred door from before. August 19th, 1899, von Rosenbach writes of the Odic force, whilst the ignorant charlatan Blavatsky pontificated upon the soul. They are both cretins. To think one could strive for such great heights without wading first through the puke and innard, without standing upon the architecture of bones. Montezuma was the wiser, but here, in our temples of steel, I have witnessed the severed head of a man recently trampled to death by a runaway carriage, immersed in a solution of the Brennenburg compound open his eyes and cry, "Oh, where are my legs, sir? Where is my body? We are breaking through the barriers of death itself. Oh, my dead darling Lily, it is too late for you, but I promise you this. I will save our children from death, and if need be, I will wrench them back from the blackness with this wonderful concoction. Okay, so that is a very clear reference to the first game. I guess that's about the vitae that they were getting from the blood of torture victims, because it could very well keep a man alive that should have died a long time ago. For example, in the first game, there was this guy Agrippa who actually survived as a disembodied head, and you carried him in your backpack for a while. Okay, more dead rats.
Hold still, for God's sake, hold still, child. Don't let it get into your eyes. I'm gonna rinse it out now. There. It will be fine. You just need to lie down. Enoch, look to your brother. How many times have I told you not to play in the cellar?
I told you he'd come.
Extraordinary, quite extraordinary. And you built it all. Good God, man, you have been busy.
It is wonderful how tragedy focuses the mind. What else was I to do? Fall into grief, pine and fade in my hopelessness? Why not then simply die in that jungle amongst those dead temples?
Okay, so that's almost like a decontamination chamber. Interesting. Okay, that's a literal machine for pigs? Like, that's a machine for dismembering meat and like mincing it? But I somehow don't think this is what the game is going to be about. Like, I think the pig in this machine for pigs is going to be of the long pig variety. The collar, the neck, the nose. From the window, he could almost see to the dogs, where they were still pulling hair out of the gratings. God knows what it says about the paper. No, God knows what. God know what's it. What? God know what it's about, says the paper boy. Damn it, I got really confused with that sentence, so I didn't have the time to read the end there. The path is clear. It seems that the chemical processor is merely one part of a much larger complex. No easy route for me then. I will follow my fever, the calls of my children, wherever they may lead me. As they move further into this strange empire. The factory offices. All the suggestions of a larger workforce, yet no actual signs of life. It is as if it is every bit as if someone has attempted to carefully create the illusion of a working factory complex, yet this facade, when examined closely, is clearly just a falsification. But I must put aside my anxieties, quell the unease that pits my stomach, and continue on my path.
Unshackled, and you harvest the crust from my eyes. Make me clean, Mandus, that my thoughts and words can unfouled be.
That's some grade A insane rambling right there. Well, okay, maybe not grade A. It's like grade C insane rambling. Because it wasn't like intensely interesting. The best kind of insane rambling in stories is one that has like a deep symbolic or metaphorical meaning that you come to learn about later, which I guess this might at some point, but kind of doubt that. May the 1st, 1899, but then what if they could stay up outright and walk as men? What if the brute were harnessed thus? Would they sing? Would they find their own god? I have seen these things, and I will tell you now, no. No, they will not, but they will happily accept fealty to a god thrust upon them, and worship it thus given. In this, I realized, they are no different to the masses. They are much the same as us. Once this irrevocable threshold is passed, I understand that we are too shackled and must be set free. To free the man, we cut the man. In order to cross that great evolutionary line, it must first be painted upon the ground. Is that about the cyborgs? The mutilated servants? Or is it about animals? Like, if they could stand upright and and walk as men, would they find their own God? Because the servants could walk upright from the beginning because they started as regular people. Okay, that's definitely weird. That's like a drawer full of dentures and glasses, as if somebody was killing exclusively old people. August the 22nd, 1899. In America, they talk of building their cities to the skies. To me, this seems folly. But perhaps it is simply a case of a nation founded without a history of its own. We walk upon our histories. They are compacted into the very loam beneath our feet. The engineers we employed talked of this. They talked of how, when building the underground trains, they would often come across older tunnels crisscrossing the capital. What places lie buried beneath us? We are digging, excavating and reappropriating what we find. At the center of the planet, my architect tells me, there is a great iron ball. It is the egg of the world. What's the point of this bathroom in gameplay terms? It very much seems to be nothing to me. October 11th, 1899. We integrate the very last knowledge of chemistry using low levels of laudanum derivative in the feed to subdue the product even before the initiation of the process. This means when we drag them from holding pens onto the line, they are less likely to panic and damage machine components, other products or themselves. The section of the belt is sheathed in rubber and kept well lit to maintain good spirits, and we have actually found that the intelligent placements of gramophones and simple acoustic amplification tubes around the line means that we can use music to further soothe the product. We find Debussy particularly effective in this regard. Okay, again, this might be talking about pigs, but my understanding is that they have been actually they've designed a machine for industrialized slaughter of people, which might be because A, they are insane, but also B, because clearly the protagonist of this game knows about about Vitae from Amnesia 1, The Dark Descent, so he might want to get that, but to be honest, if that was the case, keeping the people subdued before you kill them would be counterproductive, because Vitae is created by feelings of terror and pain. So in fact, in the first game, they were excessively talking about how they specifically designed, for example, the cells at Brennenburg to carry over the screams of the people who were being tortured back to the people who are waiting to be tortured just to fuel their anxiety. Warning: fueling pumps, volatile chemicals in use. These materials are highly corrosive. Wear protection. Well, those at the very least are just pigs. So maybe it is a literal machine for pigs, but that would be kind of thematically underwhelming. Truck fueling station. It appears to be some kind of a fueling station. I've seen automobiles demonstrated at Mr. Yarnum and Mr. Simon's works, but the smell here is all wrong. This is not petroleum, of that I'm sure. Everything suggests to me that this machine must be significant in some other way. September 28th, 1899. Imagine, they say, a machine one day might think like a man, as if it is to be desired. One might almost boast of creating a man who breathes like a pig, men and women upon all fours, rotting carelessly, ejaculating their filthy little missives into the streets, alleys and gutters, running freely with the careless spill of their conjoinings, the air thick with the whimpering of the lust, bodies streaked with their own emissions. We have created a world where a man is so utterly debased he will spray his seed over passerbys, and yet this is the condition Babbage aspired to. Now, this is not the machine we seek. Such an entity would be nothing less than a deity, and we would fall upon our knees and worship it. We shall not crave gods. No, we shall not carve gods to bicker and fornicate. They will exist to clean the world and set us free. I reject Babbage, and as I reject these men of government, let the pigs copulate in their gutters while they can. We shall scoop them up and ease their ascension soon enough. Okay, so I guess the protagonist is not a fan of the idea of computerizing, because I assume Babbage that is mentioned is actually Charles Babbage, who was a British mechanic and engineer, and I think he made some machines that were in a very sort of specific understanding, because he made some calculator machines that in a specific understanding could be seen as a very sort of very rudimentary predecessor to computers. Yeah, I guess the protagonist is not a fan of that. He does seem to be a fan of pigs. Well, a fan. Like, he was speaking very dismissively of them when comparing people to them. But he seems to be kind of, preoccupied with pigs, is maybe a better way to say it. Strangers not allowed. On this works, inquiries to be made at the lodge. Boycott. Ban swine stench from our streets. Mandus factory must close. Okay, so I guess originally at least, it must have been just a regular machine for pigs, and I was involved in industrialized meat production. Sewing machine, Finkel. Cambridge brass uniform program. Little Minnie Palmer, New Year Eve, Academy Music, December 31st. This just repeats the very same bell yard clump of messages. Holy orders. The church is connected to the plant. How odd. However, it does suggest another route into the main part of the facility, given the locked doors around the fueling station. The track blocks my way, however, almost as if the saboteur knew that I might consider the alternative entrance. The delivery schedule. How in blazes are we supposed to meet these damn schedules if even the basic equipment we are provided will simply not perform its designed function? These cursed, newfangled trucks will only run a fraction of the distance my old nag managed before running out of stinking gasoline. The gaffer says it's fine, and there's plenty of pumps to refill them outside the factory walls, but you end up dragging a blessed tank from the truck to the nearest one to refill it, and the one in the storeroom is empty again. I can't be turning that crank handle all day only to find the tank empty. Well, sod it, says I. Enough for a night, and I go to bed. It's not like anyone needs access to the bleeding graveyard anyway. Harry, if you get this, I'll meet you in the Damson Templar for a jar.
Come on, Papa. Let's climb this one. I can see more pictures at the top.
St. Dunstan's Church. Mandus and Co. Meat Processing Factory, Anno 1828. Crawshaw and Jones. Chemical transportation, danger, highly corrosive, highly flammable. Strange container. This container looks as if it might fit the fuel pump I saw earlier. Certainly carries the same fetid, unholy reek. I will not think of that which I saw pass me in its cage. I will not gaze again into that dark machine room. The more immediate task presents itself, and the opportunity to perhaps gain access to St. Dunstan's. Okay, so once again, if I was supposed to see something scary in here, I didn't. I kinda think I should be running. Okay, I don't think this mask was here before. A fast getaway. Dear sweet Lord, and all that is good and holy, I must make my escape, grasp this container and its putrid contents, and flee this place before that creature, that nearly man, returns. I will head for the church. Surely such abomination could not follow onto the hallowed ground. I didn't even see it. Like, from all the pig content, I assume it's probably like a half man, half pig, half robot. I know the halves don't make sense. It was kind of intentional thing, but I didn't even see it. So how do I make it move? Wait, I really needed a whole canister of fuel just to move it like 3 centimeters? That's a bit silly.
This way, Papa. Come and see. Will it hatch? Can we take it home?
Yes, my darlings. Of course we can take it home.
That's a bit silly, if you ask me. Those symbols are from the first game. That's a buried pig. Or rather a half-buried pig. More pigs. Although, okay, this does very much look like a person, only with its head missing. So yeah, I do think, because look, the color and even kind of the texture is like pig-like, so I do think there will be pigmen in this game. Livestock and Bibles. The wires came up from the ground whilst he lay on the ground asleep. Like serpents they were, and they burrowed into his ears and became his listening. Inside St. Dunstan's, we sat here, I remember, we sat in our black, and we mourned and we prayed, and we bowed our heads. How I hated God then, how I have spurned him. If this is our Lord, the pig who robs me of my wife, then I shall refute his embrace. I shall carve a new God for us all. Such madness, such a fool I was. If such blasphemous ravings had remained within me, I would be doomed. But even here, I feel the machine throb beneath the flags, and I know my path awaits me. November 23rd, 1899, twin candles bent to the will of the Eternals of the Central Saint, casting their light to the corners of the chapel. Father Jeremiah, I thought, could be trusted with the secret, but he is like all the others. So the old priest has gone to the holding pens with his flock. He says he will enter into our world with them, a shepherd indeed. Yeah, so they are slaughtering humans on an industrial scale. Like, it's very clear to me. More pig masks everywhere.
Your faith shackles your vision, Professor. It is an iron coffin that keeps you from grasping the future. We require a new deity, one of steam and the wheel, of magnetism and progress. The old god is nothing more than a lamed hog, spitting back offal at mankind.
Yeah, the protagonist is definitely crazy about pigs. He writes about pigs in pretty much everything and in every context. Father Jeremiah's journal, October the 1st, 1899. They flock to us now, where once I had to walk among them to bring salvation into their lives. Now, drawn by warmth in winter, by food that Mandus distributes, my church is full, and my charges are saved. He walks among them, and they almost worship him. He will not allow them to work in his factories, claiming that his workforce are specially trained for the new machinery he uses, and that he would be unresponsible, nay, unethical, to risk such precious lives he sees here. A changed man since Mexico. It is to be praised that in the face of such an appalling tragedy, and from the confines of his sickbed, as he is often chained to, he conducts one of the greatest and most benevolent charities in all of London. Not content with the rise to become the dominant food produce business in the land, he distributes his goodwill, his fares, to the poor, and then they congregate about his kingdom in gratitude. Okay, but this episode has been long enough, so I'm going to pause it here. That's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.